Welcome back. It's been a long while. We had another off season on this car. We didn't film anything. We didn't really do any crazy things this off season. We tidied up a bunch of little things. Some of the parts we were testing, we had them powder coated now since we're happy with them. Pulled the whole car down. Measured out the engine. Everything looked good on that. Heads got serviced. New clutch. New X-clutch. Some new fuel system changes, but nothing crazy. So that car is 100% ready. Jet hot coated some of our other parts. So that's 100% ready to go. So that one's sick. This is was going to be our practice car. We did a bunch of snow, ice, lake drifting in it and really just beat the shit out of it. And I did do some events at Jackson at the end of last year with this setup. It's a stock N52. It is driftable, but it's probably one of the most boring drift cars I've ever driven. I really don't think 100 horsepower, 180 horsepower is where drifting is, in my opinion. Some people couldn't actually drive it. It was that challenging to drive. But we had fun in it.
You should call me out. Call Miles out too.
Okay, and Miles sucked in it as well. But it was driftable, but it's just not where I want to be. When you're driving with other people and you have to run 120 PSI just to spin the wheels, it's kind of not that exciting when the other cars are just all running away from you. I think it would be cool if there was a bunch of the same spec car, but no one really wants to drive this spec car by the seams of it. So we are going to fix the power problem by putting an LS in there. This is basically going to end up what I would term a pretty decent Pro-Am car, is probably what it's going to end up being. It's going to be simple. The only thing it's not going to have at this stage is a roll cage, but we're going to go a 488 diff, so that kind of makes the rear end pretty bulletproof and reliable and should take you a long way. We're going a T56 transmission, just simply because it's strong and can take a beating. So you really shouldn't have to mess with that for the season. We're going to put an X-clutch ceramic clutch in it. Thinking for the fuel system, it's going to be a Fuel Lab swell pot. So we're going to leave all the factory tank and factory everything in there, and we're just going to put a swell pot in the back. Surge can, sorry, in this country. We're going to put a surge can in the back, and we're going to keep that super simple, but so we have no surge issues. And then we're going to go for the I have a couple of choices of LSs laying around, but I think it's probably going to end up with a 6-litre LS. I work with Hooper's heads, so it's probably going to get a set of heads on it because that's where the magic is in making any power. It's going to be stock bottom end. It's going to be wet sump. It's going to be basic. Probably going to go for the LSX E-90 kit. We will go through that in further videos. Sparky, what happened, brother?
I don't want to talk about it.
You feeding Loki?
Apparently, he finds it.
So we got that. Engine, haven't decided exactly engine intake and everything. I have a few brainwave ideas, but that's probably going to be up to Hooper's heads, what ends up happening with that. That'll be in further videos. Want to keep the cooling system super simple. So we're going to use an M3 radiator. So the M3 radiator will literally bolt in this spot and that fan will bolt to the radiator. And we're going to use a Link ECU. The Link ECU will be a plug and play style LS harness. So Link cell and ECU. So it's probably going to be, I don't know whether I'm going to go drive by wire or drive by cable yet, but I'd say I'm 99.9% I'm a drive by wire guy, no matter what throttle body we use. So it'll be a drive-by-wire setup. So I think that's the Fury. Then that'll have onboard lander. Also do a whole video on that. But for now, we're going to get this this engine. This engine actually has been good. We beat the piss out of this engine, to be honest with you. And it hasn't really failed at all. We thought we had an oil leak, but it actually is the extractor leaking that bad. It caught the sound deadening on fire. So the engine's actually been pretty good, but I just don't want to deal with the electric water pump. I know that has a weep and they're $600 to fix. It sucks for power. You could do headers, exhaust, and spray some nitrous in it, but I feel I'm going to be all up if I have to get someone else to tune it, because I don't have the tuning software and I don't really want to buy it for this particular setup. So say all up, I'm going to probably invest $3,000 to $4,000 in making this 250 horsepower, which would be like fun at most of the tracks. I think I am an LS guy. I know LS is sweet. I have plenty of them. The companies I work with are LS based, so it's getting an LS. Simple. So let's get that happening, get this out, get this cleaned up and see how we go. So we got the engine out. We went pretty well with that, to be honest with you. That was basically the whole day Saturday. We jammed out on this thing. I did spend the rest of Sunday working on this with, I actually didn't do much work on it. Darius and Jelani did most of it, to be honest, but they got the full alignment done on the car. Corner weighted, balanced. All the sway bars set up with where we want to start. The new silvers, because we did change the shock travel in the rear. So we made some changes to that. That car's good to go. That's ready for vinyl. And then we can put the last bits on and I'll hit the dyno. So that one's good. Engine's out. We got a plan. Got a bit of wiring work to do, work out what's going on here. This was our next biggest thing as we went through and made a full list of what we need. So we got to get a clutch sorted, a shifter, because we've got the, like with a 6060, it's a remote shifter. So we're going to put a chassis mount shifter in it. Engine mount, trans mount, I could build it, but honestly you can buy it. So I'm going to get that. I'm going to go with a Link plug and play ECU and harness. And I'm probably going to put a Link PDM in there just so it runs the engine and keeps that super happy, safe. I think we got data on everything. I think that'll be a good thing to have. Surge tank for the rear with a filter. Ford 88 from Seems Legit with some Seems Legit arms. And then I did start working on these rear knuckles, so it's going to be a whole video of what we're going to do there. So keep that separate. We obviously can't order a drive shaft yet. That's later down the road. We decided on the E-92 CFSF radiator. I do want to paint the bay because this bay looks kind of meh. We'll probably, if anyone knows me, they know I'm definitely about having some flake in there. So probably do a black base with some sort of flake, maybe something similar to what we're going to wrap the car in. I'm not really sure, but we'll have to do something that looks half decent. I did some research. We want to use the WiseFab controller for the rack. So we're getting an X1 rack, get some new headlights to suit our front bumper we're going to run. The coilovers that I put in that I thought would be okay are actually not amazing. So we're probably going to go for a new set of silvers so it matches the other car. Maybe 2 ways in the rear and 1 way in the front. I'm not really sure of that. We want a seat. Seems Legit garage, do a seat rail, so we'll be getting one of them. New hydro from Rad Industries. I really love my Rad Industries hydro in the other car. Kind of want to match that up, so I'll hit up Dan, see what we can sort out. The tie rods are kind of worn in this thing. ABS delete. I was thinking of doing a whole like booster delete and everything. There's a company called RiseFab that do make one that bolts straight into this, but trying to keep it on like a cost-effective budget, and then by the time you go and buy their setup, then you buy some Tilton master cylinders and everything. I can just see myself getting carried away. More things to do. I really want to get this done in a reasonable time and a reasonable budget. So we're going to skip that for now, and we're just going to delete that ABS module. So this is the ABS module. We'll do a full video of how we do that when we do it, but we are going to delete that. Front bar. Sam from Bubba Built's working on a front bar for Wisefab. So I've got my bar set up that I use in this, this works sweet for this, but we're trying to keep this thing simple. Sam's designed a front bar that bolts straight into the OEM mounts and works with Wisefab. So we'll hit Sam up, see if we can get one of them happening. Wiring, there's going to be some like integration between the link and the OEM chassis. So we'll hit up Wirecare for that, and then that's going to be the engine package, which we'll do in a whole nother video. But that's where we're at. This brings us to the end of this video. Pretty successful start. Next step's going to be get this thing cleaned and prepped for paint probably. So hopefully we get some good weather. Then I can start assembling the rear and start working on an engine package. So yeah, should be good. Hopefully we can get it done in a reasonable time and get to the track. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.